All right, you're still watching Today's Business. We head over straight to our interview where we'll be speaking to Ambrose Oruche, that's the acting DG of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, and we'll be talking about the impact of the recent economic trends, that is the plunge in oil prices, the coronavirus, and all other issues, the impact it is having on manufacturing, and how we can use this particular opportunity to diversify, as Dangote has suggested, and move forward here in the economic of Nigeria. We have him online. Mr. Oruche, good day to you.
Yeah, good day.
Okay.
Thanks for having me online.
Yes, please. You're welcome to the show. I want us to start with the impact that you might forecast that will affect the manufacturing industry in Nigeria. We can see in China that so many industries had to close because people had to stay at home, you know, and this is affecting other climes and other countries as well. Could you do you foresee some of this impact affecting the manufacturing industries in Nigeria?
Yeah. Though we have not done an impact assessment, but looking at things, most of the members that get raw materials from Chinese or China is having challenge on sustaining their manufacturing due to the coronavirus issue. The visits to China to source for materials and machinery is not for now being allowed, because China has placed ban on visa issuance to Nigeria. We also felt that, yes, the pandemic is also affecting even the local industry, because if you look at the environment, it's a little bit hard. Corona and businesses are being affected, not in Nigeria, but globally. There have been speculations there will be global meltdown, worse than what happened in 2008 and 2009, if this corona issue is continued. And Nigeria is not immune to such, knowing that we are a mono economy. We depend on oil, and you can see the oil price is decelerating. And if something is not done, the forex we use to import raw materials will dry up. You know, that's the critical challenge that we have at our hand due to this coronavirus or the operating environment.
All right, nice one. Dangote hammered a lot on diversification, and he specifically mentioned the manufacturing industry. Do you think the manufacturing... Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Mr. Oruche?
I can hear you.
Mr. Oruche, please. All right, okay, all right. Dangote hammered a lot on targeting diversification, and he mentioned the manufacturing industry here in Nigeria.
Yes.
Now, do you think the government is ready to back the manufacturing industry, you know, in a very big way, to ensure that whatever plans that they have to diversify will work from the look of things, you know, that you're seeing around? Do you think the government is ready to do that? Speaking of loan, because of course we have MSMEs that are, you know, behind this manufacturing here in Nigeria, you know, giving out loans, and the ease of doing business in Nigeria, which fell and also rose in recent times. Do you think the country is ready for that?
I didn't get your question, but if I'm correct in what you are saying, if I got it right, yes, you said Dangote is happening that the way to satisfy the economy is to support manufacturing. That has been our message all along, that you cannot depend on oil exports. We need a viral and thriving manufacturing sector, to be able to create jobs, to be able to create wealth, to be able to support government revenue generation. If we don't have that, we are just paying lip service on diversification of the economy. You may say the economy is diversified economy through tourism, trade, and all that. But if manufacturing that creates a job is not supported, is not encouraged, that aspect of the role it has to play is not there. If you look at the advanced economy, you will see that the contribution of manufacturing to their GDP is averaging 40%. But what do we have in Nigeria? The contribution of manufacturing to GDP is hovering around 9%. That is not good to create jobs. That is not good to create sustainable economy. And that's what we need. We need sustainable economy. There was a government in this country that gave a lot of incentives to manufacturers to be able to encourage them to grow. Manufacturer is giving money, funds to manufacturers is not enough. Using money to throw money at challenges cannot solve the challenge. Manufacturing environment requires more than funding. Absolutely. Funding is key, yes, but it requires more than funding. And this is where we want government to come in. Environment is harsh. Operating environment is harsh. Manufacturing, we should understand that manufacturing in Nigeria is at a developing level. It cannot take all that is happening, because when we talk, they said in this country, this is like this, in this country, it's like this. But they don't also look at what is not in that country that is here. Operating environment is harsh, and we need to relax it. Yes, we talked about PEBEC, a presidential committee on ease of doing business. They are on their own doing, but the citizens are on their own doing differently. We have to look at it on the way to encourage manufacturing. Let me give you an example. Am I still there?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Let me give you an example. This year, between January and February, for more than 4 weeks, the website or the facility of sun was down for 3 weeks. Nobody could access power. Nobody could process their power. Goods people could not import because an agency without apology to the importers, for 3 weeks nothing was going on, and people had consignments to import raw materials to continue to produce. No apology. Even some of them were slammed with a lot of bill to pay, even when the fault was not theirs. Demurrages were slammed on them, even when the fault was not theirs. And when you look at it, you see that government has a lot to do. When I talk about government, I'm not talking about the presidency. I'm talking about the ministry, departments, and agencies. They must understand that we are in an emergency situation that requires emergency action. There should be some ways. I've been arguing. For instance, I've been asking question, what is tax being paid, corporate tax being paid, supposed to be used for? I was told that tax is supposed to be used to run government. If tax is to run government, why should I pay to NAFTA to register my product? Why should I pay so much amount to Sun for me to be inspected? Why should I pay so much amount to Sun to be able to bring my raw materials? Then at the end of it, I will pay corporate tax. What are we talking about? Double taxation. Because the tax I pay ought to be used to maintain these agencies, to regulate me. But what we have now is that manufacturers are meant to pay huge amounts to these agencies to sustain the agencies, and at the same time pay huge amounts as taxation. I don't know whether I'm making
quite a lamentation there, Mr. Oruche.
Well, that's
This
what
is
we
why,
found ourselves into.
Mr. Oruche,
Yeah, I'm with you.
I was saying that was quite a lamentation from you, reeling out all the challenges that manufacturers in Nigeria go through, to add to the GDP of the economy. People are bothered, sector players are bothered that the government is just putting out theoretical statements that they are not ready, and they are not ready to take on and implement these things they are saying. If you look at the statement that was made by the Minister of Finance, she said measures. There was no specific measure that was put in place. What I'm quoting there is Dangote's, the quotes I put there were Dangote's words. Do you think the government is ready? Do you trust that this committee put together to help Nigeria out of the situation will do their job as at when due?
Well, I've not seen the composition of the committee members, because that will have helped me to know who and who is there, to know the mindset of the person there. Because when we talk about manufacturing, and most times government gets private sector people, maybe consultants, and said, okay, they are private sector. But their mindset regarding the development of manufacturing sector is not encouraging. Some of these consulting firms. But if I look at the composition of the people there, if Dangote is there, I'm quite certain that the committee will come out with credible results. But if we don't have credible manufacturers in that committee, it will be a jamboree. It will not result, it will not have effect on the manufacturing, because we need to encourage more people to come into manufacturing. We need to encourage foreign direct investment in the manufacturing. That's the way we can create wealth and create jobs we are looking for. If the unemployment rate is like this now, with this shutting down of economies due to coronavirus coming, I don't know what will happen in the next 6 months, how the unemployment situation will be. So I think the composition of the committee is also critical. I'm not seeing it. I'm sorry, I'm not seeing the composition, so I don't know who and who is in that committee.
All right, Mr. Oruche, before I let you go, let's talk about solutions now. What fiscal policies do you think the government can tinker with to help the private sector?
Yes, I like this question, the fiscal policy. First and foremost, fiscal and monetary policy must be aligned. Two, we should be able to point out a department that is in charge of fiscal policy. Why do I say so? There is a conflicting policies from Central Bank and Ministry of Finance, who is actually in charge of the fiscal policy formulation in Nigeria. That's the critical question. We as Central Bank will wake up overnight and decide a fiscal policy without consultation of the Ministry of Finance, of the other stakeholders in the economy. It is not good. The much I know about economics is that the Central Bank deals with monetary policy, while Ministry of Finance deals with fiscal policy. Be that as may, I will expect the fiscal policy I'm expecting to come in, from finance, is to give an incentives to manufacturers in terms of tariff reduction, in terms of tax exemption, VAT exemption in critical manufacturing that requires to survive. Imagine that the finance bill gave VAT exemption to milk as a basic food item. Customs is still insisting that milk importing their raw materials pays 7.5 VAT. So I want to see the fiscal policy of government working. I want to see the agencies of government coordinating themselves to ensure that there is no conflict in the operations. As it is now, there is no coordination. Finance will say this, custom will do this, central bank will do another. How will business thrive in this kind of environment. So we must have a one agency that talks about fiscal policy, and that ensures that it is implemented. I said incentives should be given to manufacturers in terms of reduced tariffs for their raw materials, basic raw materials, in terms of reduced on income tax, in terms of creating enabling environment for them to thrive. The activities of the agencies, regulatory agencies, should be looked into, because the regulatory agencies are operating as masters while the companies are servants. It ought not to be so. So there must be a coordinating agency that coordinates this activity for us to move on.
Absolutely, I agree with you there, Mr. Ambrose Oruche. Thank you so much for the insights that you've given to us as regards how the current economy trends is affecting or will affect the manufacturing industry in Nigeria. Thank you so much for speaking with us on today's business.
Thank you so much.
All right. So we'll just end with the performance of the equities markets on Thursday. The sell-offs witnessed in the Nigeria bulls persisted on Thursday as the Ocean Index fell by 3.72% to close at 22,695.88 basis points. Investors lost about 456.96 billion naira as the market capitalization fell by the same margin to 11.827 trillion as against Wednesday's 12.284 trillion naira. Now, trading activity mirrored the Nigerian bulls as the total of the Ocean Index volume and value of shares traded reduced by 23.90% and 44.43% respectively, as 1.058 billion units of shares valued at 9.80 billion naira exchanged hands in 5,501 deals. Now, banking stocks led by the Zenith Bank, UBA, and Guarantee Trust Bank were the most active to boost market volume. Top gainers include Carverton gaining 10% to close at 2.31 naira, Sky VA gaining 9.83% to close at 2.57 naira. Stanbic Bank facing 3.35% to close at 29.30 naira. Now, top losers include Nigerian Breweries losing 10%, Floor Mills losing 10% as well, M.A.N. Nigeria losing 9.95% to close at 93.20 naira, and Okomo Oil losing 9.93% to close at 55.30 naira. It's so much gloom. We do hope that things would change for the better. Well, that's all we have for you on today's business. My name is Mr. Frank. I hope you join us again next week as we bring more issues in the news and analysis as well. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.